you all, not done a video for a couple of weeks now, and as you can see, the time has come. The sun is finally arriving with a bit more, what's the word, heat, warmth, potential, whatever you want to call it. It is that time of year, and I get that feeling, you know, quite soon, being in a greenhouse like this. The temperature in here now is, wow, 24 degrees, believe it or not. I'm in my t-shirt. I can get in the garden with my t-shirt today because it's about 14 degrees. I can handle that, and it's absolutely lovely and sunny outside. So I thought I'd have a catch up because I've not done a video for a couple of weeks. So we're going to have a catch up on a few things. If you want to have a look outside, you all know if you're in the UK, we've got a good warm spell at the minute, or sunny spell. And here we go. The bees, this hive is absolutely buzzing, and so is the other one, but I'll flip you around. Yeah, that one is really buzzing, that one as well. That far end is a dead out. The pond is still covered, but the outside pond is 8 degrees. So those fish have started to be fed, so getting some food, little bits into them every day. Well, it's been nice. But, oh, isn't it nice to get this weather finally, absolutely lovely to get in there, sit outside and have a coffee or just chill out. So we're back in here, everything's doing well. That's empty now. That's got RO water in normally with fertiliser in it for my orchids. So that's got I always start off by cleaning that out, hosing it out, bleaching it, whatever I need to do. I've got some lemons, picked my first lemon today. That on my last one where it collapsed, I've repaired it, kind of, bodged it, got everything off, just got a new piece of ply. I'll say new, a piece of ply that I had. Put a bit of timber on there. That's back to normal and better, so I can get this door fully open now. So yes, that time has come, that time of year where it's a little bit more buoyant. I say a little bit, a lot more, because it has been dank. Now what I've been doing now is every day I come down and I open this door and I get the airflow in, and what it does is it dries out the roof, look. So literally that's about dry now, but what it was like, you see this here, it's got condensation on. So already in the last hour these two panels are clearing, and it's now that time of year where I get some good airflow through here. That fan in the corner and that heater in the corner and that one there will soon go off. That fan there is now turned on to get some better air circulation through the system, and it's every day now. I'm just getting a few pellets in them just to get the biological system kick started. Yeah, and the fish are looking healthier. Well, say healthier, they just start off and they just really want that food again. This water in here, I don't know whether you can see, there's a slight tinge to it. If you look at this fish here, this white one, can you see the tinge of the water? Now if I show you, I'm digressing now like I always do, look at this one. The clarity is so much, there's no tinge on this one at all. So if you look at the white on some of these fish, there's no tinge to this water at all yet. They're on Saki white, so I filled the feeder. The feeder is on once per day. They're being fed once a day, about 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I come in and I'll hand feed them. And they are wanting some more food, look. So you can see how lovely and white these are. Now the only difference between this pool and that pool is carbon, activated carbon granules, the really tiny stuff that you get in aquariums and things like that. So the food is starting to go in now. The fish are looking lovely and lively and on it and wanting it, but it's also that time of year we've got to have caution and watch them, because with the temperatures rising, the temperature in this pool here is about 13.5, that's saying 13.7, that one there is showing 13.2. The cactoil is showing 13.7, so let's say 13.5 as an average temperature in there at the minute. But the fish are looking fab. They're like this on the food, so I want to try and maintain this all the way through the season if I can. When you're upping the food, what I did last year, I upped the food, got to about July, and they weren't behaving like this. They started slowing the feed. They were really slow, you know, a bit lethargic, and it just got a bit too much. So this year I'm going to watch that and live and learn. That fish, the shower, the one that was on Death's Door last year, the one that lovely squiggle down its side, that's got a little bit of carp pox on it. So I don't know whether that's just a type of sickly koi or what, but that's the only one in there that's got any mark on it or anything. There's a bit of carp pox on that tail and it's fin. But hopefully that will sort itself out. So yes, so now the warmer temperatures are on us, 20 degrees. It gets more buoyant in here in the day. So over the last week we've gone from 9-10 degrees to now 13.5. So the controller there to the air source heat pump is now set to kick in at 12 degrees and go off at 12.1. Now I'm not going to ramp up too quick because my only worry is that air source heat pump be great now, fine, but it's the cold nights. It's the cold nights when they might, because they're going to get some 5-degree nights. So I've just got to be careful, not rush it. But what I don't want to do is be in a position where I'm getting the temperature up on great days like this, nice and easy, get it up to 24, say, quite quick, over a period of a week maybe. That's probably possible with these lovely warmer days. It's 15 degrees. Well, the downside to that is if we get a cold night, if that temperature drop is too severe on this pond, they're going to get stressed. So for March and April, it's going to be a bit of caution and then gradually get that temperature up. So hopefully by the beginning of May, I'm at 24 degrees in here without too much cost to raise the temperature, and I'm not stressing the koi because the heat loss in the night, if the air source heat pump kicks off, because it'll kick off when it gets to frosty, that's when the temperature will drop, the heat loss will kick in, but hopefully there's not many days and nights like that. So it depends, isn't it? But we are getting more buoyant temperatures, so it's just about increasing that slowly, but not pushing it too much. Where I push it too much, air source heat pump is not working because it's too cold outside at night. It's say 3 in the morning, and then this drops below, you know, the temperature difference drops below a degree or so, because it can get a bit stressy like that. Now the biggest thing to watch at this time of year is parasites, because parasites, no doubt, most fish, all ponds have parasites. They go hand in hand with koi. So at this time of year, when them temperature starts raising, especially in between 12 and 17, it's that window where bad bacteria can thrive, parasites can kick in, and if you've got a fish with its immune system that's not as strong at that time, then that's the likelihood is that the parasites will probably overrun that koi, or start to overrun it and start affecting it, and it becomes poorly, and then you start notice flashing, and koi being lethargic and stuff like that. Well, fingers crossed I won't have that, because hopefully the parasites are at a very minimum here. They're all quite fit and healthy, so hopefully I'm going to have a great season with these. But I did have parasites last year, bloody fluke in this pond. Hopefully these will go okay. These were okay last year. The grow on was QT was okay last year. That one's just got a bit of red on it. It has got better, but that's the only one. The other two are ready to go outside in that pond, but it's not warm enough yet to throw them in there, because they won't thank me for it. I'm going to wait till it's a bit more neutral, and then get them in a bag and get them floated and put them in the outdoor pond. So yeah, they're looking great. That's Sakikari White. They've gobbled that up, but they'll have another lot, they will, there's no doubt about it. So I'm going to clean the water out in here. Look how dirty that is. I've got the brushes out. You can see what type of waste it is. Look, algae. So obviously they're still munching on the algae. Look at the brushes. So I'm going to hose them out, put them back in there, hose that out, and what else am I doing? Make sure everything's set up. The KH, I've got this valve now, Gardena micro drip system. I got that off Amazon. I got a pack of 2. I only thought it was 1. It weren't very expensive because I couldn't get the balance right with that blue tap, and now I've got it with both. I know it seems a bit weird, but I'm a tinkerer. Now I could put it on a solenoid valve and have the solenoid valve open for a period of time every day to get the solution in, but I thought I'd try that first. And at the minute I'm okay, because I was at a point where I wasn't able, it wasn't increasing the KH, and obviously the KH in here will really start getting hammered soon, because the bacteria, beneficial bacteria in the K1 in there, will start absolutely consuming that carbonate hardness. So the KH in here at the moment, I've been doing it most days and it's at 6. So it was keeping at 4 to 5, and I've managed to get it where I've got it risen to 6 over a period of a week or so, and so I'm hoping that's going to be stable at that. So I've got to learn now how much this is going to consume, but obviously that drip might get more. I don't want the drip to be too fast, I don't want to overdo it. You see that? So there was probably a drip every minute, I just couldn't get it right, but now you can see there is a drip, you know, every, another one now, look. So literally since I've had my camera there on it, there's 2 drops on there, and that's in the bucket with a high concentration solution of bicarbonate. So we've got to keep that solution like that. And I've not, what's been nice is when I've done a filter clean, and I've not stopped doing filter cleans over the last month since I've had that bucket, I've not added any bicarb at all. So it's automatically dosing through that drip, no electrics, just through that bucket of water dripping in. And that's maintained around 5, an average of 5 kH. So I've just got to try and do that now over summer when the demand is really high. Now what I'm hoping is, because it's constantly dripping in 24/7, I'm not going to get, there's no risk of it depleting, which there was anyway because I'm manually doing it really, but it's them fluctuations from going down a couple of degrees, then back up at a weekend, down, back up over a week, you know, a week later, and doing that yo-yoing. So hopefully I'm getting more consistency with that, and hopefully the pH will be more consistent and more steady, giving a better environment all over. So let's have a look in here. Look at that. Look at the bubbles. Obviously that's not got no water flowing through it at the moment because it's all turned off because I'm maintaining the filters. But yeah, that's lovely. Getting a lovely roll. Really, I'm over the moon with that. This is going to perform this year, I just know it is. I just know it is. Bag of micro K1 in there, and then 10 litres of Oaz bio pads. Really looking a lot better as well. Now it's tumbling better, look. No muck in there, no muck on them, and now the bio pads really are starting to tumble, because before how it was, they just sunk. Anyway, I've got that sorted. Absolutely brilliant. Now what I've noticed is that pond, it doesn't deplete carbonate hardness as quick as this one. It's similar, but not as much. But that will be because all that's got in it is sponges, and then it's got ceramic media in there. I think there's a bit of plastic media, but this has got a hell of a lot of micro K1, which really does, because it's got that much, you know, biological bacteria in the surface, it tends to really hammer the carbonate hardness. That's why you have to monitor your KH, because it really does make a difference to your ammonia and your nitrite. So hopefully I've improved again this year, and hopefully, I mean, look at them, they're looking absolutely mint, aren't they? I'm sure you can agree. And look at the clarity in the water, no staining, nothing. I mentioned that earlier. So that's that with the bicarb and all that stuff. But what's the difference between that one, and I'll tell you now. Look at the clarity of the white on these koi and the tinge of the water. Absolute clarity, perfect, compared to this one, where there's a tinge. There's still a staining on this one, a yellow staining, and these have hardly had any food, so it's not the food that's doing this one. The only difference at the minute is, I believe, and we'll see how it goes in the season, in this bag here there is a few kilo, you can see, look, of carbon, activated carbon. If you have looked through my earlier videos, you might see it, what I've used and what I did, and it's basically just a sack of it in a cloth with a tie wrap on it, and it sits in there. Now I did have it on this one where the water went through to it. I thought it'd be better agitated, but big mistake. It literally disintegrated my activated carbon and it landed in the bottom of here, and I noticed I could see staining in here because it just dissolved it because of the disturbance. Oops. Since I've put it in that sack, it's been absolutely great. So let's see, once this starts getting hammered, I believe the carbon is getting the what's call it, the tannins or whatever out of the water, and getting into the carbon. So I've got some left. I'll show you what I've got. This is the stuff I've got in there. I think I bought about a 5 kilo box of it all, so that's what I've got left. I've used half. I lost about 1 kilo in about the first month. It was just disintegrating. There was just nothing left. It's mental. There we go. The plants are starting to kickstart, get going. It's just an absolute fantastic time of year, isn't it? So, getting the jobs done. So yeah, activated carbon, just a sack of that in your pond, a few sacks of that. I've got RO, my RO's on at the moment. The RO is on, as you can see. The tap's on, look, it's going through my RO. I've tested the RO coming out the tap, coming out the unit, and it was with the Inkbird water quality test pen. This is great, this is done really great. I'm really impressed with this. So I tested it and it was hitting about 80 ppm. So that is a sign that the resin, that brown stuff, needs a clean. And there's a tap there, you turn that tap on, and what that does is it flushes it all. It puts the water through at higher pressure through it all and gives it a flush. So it flushes the media in there, the ionized resin, and then it gets that ppm gets right down again. So it just flushes it to drain, gets rid of it. And then I tested it again. I went from about 80 ppm, flushed the unit back to 3 ppm. So there was a bit of a sniff in there, but I've had this running now for a little bit, so we can test it. So let's just leave that there for a second. I'm just getting the actual Inkbird pen out. Now some people on a page that I go on saying that there's no point having them. Well, I think they're a great tool, these pens, TDS, Total Dissolved Solids, because what they do is they just give you a reading of everything that's in the pond. It doesn't tell you what is in the pond. So if you, for example, have salt in the pond, it will be off the scale. But let's just test this. You probably can't see it. Let me spin that round. Can you see that? No, 6, 5, so it's 4, 3, just wait till it stabilises. 3 ppm, 3 ppm and 12.8. That, my friends, is next to nothing. That is literally pure water. Pure water. Next to nothing in there. So that's taken my tap water, which is about between 200 and 250 ppm with all that crap in it, and it's took it to 3 ppm, hardly anything in it. And the actual pond, you probably can't see this, you'll have to take my word for it. The pond, oh, I'm just leading in, that'll do. Has that held it? Was it 600? See that? I can't see that through there. 601, and that's reading 665. So let's say this is right, and it's about 600 ppm. Total dissolved solids in here. And I would like to get that, if I'm putting, I don't trickle that in all the time because it would be too wasteful of water, because obviously every, say, 7 litres you're losing 1 down the waste. It converts 7 but it wastes 1, say, depending on how good the unit is and how much pressure there is. So what I do, I'm going to dump that. I've turned that on, that will remain on now for 24 hours. This will drop 1 inch or 2. I'll leave that on, and within the 24 hours it will dump about 700 litres in there, and this will be topped up with pure water. So hopefully in time that will dissolve and reduce the TDS. So the overall water will come down to, it could come down to, if I keep that 3 in time with hardly anything in it. So yeah, so these are useful tools. Another way you could use it is, if I turn this on, keep my finger on it, it's on, I could, now if I learn what strength solution I need, I know how much, there's about 900 gram of sodium bicarb gone into this bucket of water in total. Now I could, to keep it consistent on next time, if I wanted to do exactly the same strength, I could, I've got this on hold, yes, there we go, take it off hold. Now look at that, it's gone through the roof. So that is showing at 4,995 ppm total dissolved solids. Now I know what solids are in there because that's pure RO at 0. So that's literally 5,000 units, if you like, of sodium bicarbonate. So that's the beauty of these pens. And if you start off with pure water, so if I started off this with pure water of just a minimal amount of ppm in there, say 50, you're more or less 0, isn't it really? Then you know what's in it. So you know that when you put stuff in it, whether it's salt or sodium bicarbonate, you know what's in there because you know the purity of your water. At the minute, because I started off with tap water, I don't. It got rid of the chlorine, but that's about it. It's got 600 units or something in there which I don't know what are. But the moment you start putting salt in there and stuff, it goes off the scale, so this becomes a little bit harder to know what's in there. There will be probably a little bit of salt in there. Remnants 0.06, look. So there's 0.06, that's been in there since last March. That's been not reduced down yet to 0. So that's probably what the most of my ppm is probably salt. So there you go, they are useful tools. You can see how pure your tap water is. Yeah, out of interest, what's this one? Look at that, 2830. Wow, that's still got salt in it then. So that will be salt, no doubt about it. If I got my salt pen out, need some new batteries. If I got my salt pen out, that's probably maybe 0.15 or 0.2 salt percentage still in there. Woo! So there you go. That's what I'm going to be doing this year. Hopefully the only thing that's going in here this year, I've got pure water, so no chlorine, no chloramine, no copper, no heavy metals, nothing going into this pond. It's had a dose of pond detox a couple of months ago, so whatever was in there has hopefully now been neutralised. So I'm off to a great start. That makes sense to me. I know it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it does to me. So concluding that, I think that's the way to go, if I'm honest with you, and that's where I'm going. So that means I'm not using no catalytic carbon or anything like that, 3-stage big blues or nothing like that. That's what I'm doing. Now if you're obviously topping up all the time, it's going to be a bit more difficult. If you've got a drum and stuff, because drums take off the water, don't they? Every half an hour or something they flush or whatever. Yeah, but what you could do, you could set up a tank like that one, have a ball valve on it, and have the RO go into the ball valve, so you've got a tank of, what I would do, I'd definitely do that, I'd have a tank of RO which comes on and off, and you have a valve, you have an auto shut off valve on your RO unit, so once that ball valve shuts off, it puts back pressure on this valve, and it turns off. It's like quite clever. It's only about $6.95, and yeah, they shut off. And that is, I can show you actually. I'm rambling on now, aren't I? That is one of, where is it? Oh no, it's not there. Can't see it. Anyway, it's this little plastic box, they're dead cheap. It's an reverse osmosis shut-off valve. In fact, I've got it on here, haven't I? In play. There it is. So basically the water comes in, it creates some pressure on one side. Once that pressure is equalised on the other side or dropped to something, it shuts the water off through here, stops the water through here. There's like a diaphragm, it pushes to the other side so the water can't get through, and that's it. And then that goes to, there's a ball valve, a little mini ball valve in there. Quite clever and cheap. So that has got one on, look, and that's how you pipe it up. But this one hasn't got an automatic shut off. I have to remember to turn it off, so I just set a timer, so every day my watch comes on to remind me at this time of year as well. I shut the door, close it every night, so if I leave it open at night, the chances are we get too cold in here at night, especially we're going to have some frost, drop really quick, nick me heat out of that, deplete that, and these going to get that differential might be too great. So there you go, that's what's going on. Wow, I'm going to take a deep breath now. There you go, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. There was quite a lot of content in there, wasn't there really? A lot of rambling anyway. I hope you picked something up from that. I hope your core are okay. Yes, the season's kicking off. It's absolutely amazing. Watch out for the water, watch out for ammonia, nitrite kicking. Watch your food going into the pond. Watch your water going into the pond. Make sure it's nice and pure. That is the key. As pure water as you can get. Don't trash your water. Regular maintenance of your filters, but not your biological. And another key to all of that is make sure you've got enough media so your beneficial bacteria can colonize, because if you haven't, you will end up in trouble, like I did a couple of seasons ago. I just had that with 18 litres of the micro K1 in there, and it just could not handle it on 5,000 litres with the food that I had going in. Well, hopefully this year with that lot, the Kintama Gold, I can absolutely thrash it this year with a bit of luck and get some growth on these. Happy days. Thanks for watching.